and Frank, guests and fellow Rotarians. It is with great pleasure I'd like to introduce to Mr. Paul Valente, Chairperson of RYPEN. I think the bulletin gives you the full details on Paul and his brilliant son. I think that sort of sums the situation up. RYPEN is a very important program to help our youth of today in leadership, skills, communications, etc. I would like to thank our board for continuing to support this worthwhile program. And I think the thing is that it is a very, very important program that we have with the youth of today. And I think we should continue it as a board and as a Rotary club. I will now call on Mr. Paul Valente to give you a rundown on RYPEN and what it has to offer our youth, and will be introduce you to the people who have participated. Paul.
Thank you, Laurie, for those kind words. Good afternoon, Rotarians. As you all know, I'm Paul Valente, I'm the Chair of RYPEN. I took over from Diane Casey in October 2012. We had a little upheaval in our committee, and Reg and Laurie and Pat Christie would know about that. So we went through an upheaval, and we've now, I'm happy to say that we're back on an even keel. We have 8 Rotarians in our committee, and we have 4 coordinators, which are also Rotaractors, the Rotaract Club of Adelaide. But happily, most of our team leaders progressed to Rotaract or to other Rotary clubs. Susan Clift, who's been a coordinator for some years, was inducted in the Rotary Club of Clare not so long ago. So that's a progression that we like people to have. We know the acronyms RYLA and RYPEN, RYPEN being Rotary Youth Program of Enrichment. That's for the 14 to 17-year-olds, mostly high school students. We have a camp in April of each year for the RYPEN students. That's a 3-day camp, which is over a long weekend. We just finished our RYPEN camp, which was on the 11th of April, 11th, 12th and 13th.
You're loud enough.
You can hear me okay, that's good. So, and we had 35 students in that camp, so that was a good result for us. What did we achieve with RYPEN? We motivated, inspired, facilitated trust, increased self-esteem, encouraged commitment, helped them understand responsibility, raise self-awareness, broaden horizons, and build team skills. And bear in mind that these are kids that never met each other until they get to camp, but they're all horrified, scared, and worst of all, they need to handle their mobile phones for 3 days. So that's horrible in itself. But after the program, they're all real happy, they're very friendly, they form friendships, and it's a lasting friendship because there's a RYPEN Facebook page as well as a RYLA Facebook page. The RYLA camp, RYLA being Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, that's conducted each July. That's the 18 to 25 group. Occasionally we have some students, attendees, which are a little older than 25. We make exceptions if we have to. We generally have about 25 at RYLA, which is a good number, but we always encourage to have around about 30 if we can. So we encourage the clubs to nominate kids for RYLA and RYPEN. This year, the Adelaide Rotary Club has sponsored 5 for RYPEN, and hopefully we'll have another 2 for RYLA. So it's really good support. We appreciate that. Give yourselves a pat on the back. RYLA camp is not unlike the RYPEN. We do we train the kids in self-confidence, creative thinking, problem solving, handling confrontation, building relationships, public speaking, goal setting. So they're important life skills that people start learning at our camp. And once again, they're all, they don't know each other when they get to camp, so they're all like rabbits and headlights. And of course, no mobile phones for a week. So that's an impossible, because they usually, they like their mobile phones, obviously, as we all know. Now, I'd like to, enough about me, I'd like to get Nick up, and I'm going to ask him some questions, so he'll give you some feedback about what he thought about last year's camp. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, I went to RYLA last July.
Okay. Nick, you participated in the RYLA camp last year. What was the highlight of the week for you?
The highlight of the week was without a doubt getting away from Mum and Dad for a while. Really, well, I went there and got dropped off by my grandpa, and there was 30 people. I had no idea who they were. They were from all over the world, and then a whole week later I'd gone, and we were like the best friends ever. It was the best week of my life, probably.
Well done. So what did you get out of the week personally?
I think the thing that I got out of the week personally was probably greater confidence levels, because I was really shy, and then I just have been, with my phone taken away, I had no choice but to talk to everyone and just build friendships and do all the activities and all that. So I definitely got that, and then also greater understanding of other cultures, because there were a lot of people at the RYLA camp who were from refugee backgrounds, so I got to meet a lot of them, and definitely, since I'm doing international studies at university, so that really sort of brought that alive to me.
Great. So what was the most difficult task you had to perform?
There wasn't no real one difficult task, but because I was born with a disability, a lot of the physical tasks were more difficult for me than for others, so other people did help me with those kind of issues a bit. For example, there was this one game which was a teamwork exercise where everyone was on one side of a rope that had been stretched between 2 chairs, and we had to get over to the other side of the rope without touching the rope, so people were jumping over and climbing over other people to get over, and I got carried over by 3 or 4 others, so that was very good. They helped me and I helped other people, and it was a good exercise for teamwork.
So what are you likely to do differently now that you've completed the RYLA camp?
Well, the main thing is that I joined the Adelaide Rotary Club, which is really good because a lot of the members were at the camp and there are other people there. And I think the club itself is going to sponsor one of our members to go to this year's RYLA camp, and we do a lot of good community projects, and also just being more confident in, for example, university tutorials. I participate in the conversations a bit more, and that's good.
So has it changed your life in any way, and if so, in what way?
Well, it definitely has changed my life because, well, I've got greater interest in like refugee and migrant issues, and Currently I'm mentoring a 17-year-old boy from Sri Lanka who came by boat, and his name's Nilakshan, and yeah, he's a good friend of mine now. And also next semester I'm going to be doing a internship through the university, and I hope to do that through a migrant organisation. And yeah, so the RYLA camp definitely was a great experience, and if you know anyone who wants to go, get them to go.
That's good, Nick. And obviously, it's taken you out of your comfort zone, hasn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to do this like about a year ago. I'm totally horrified. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the club for sponsoring me. It was a great experience.
Well done, Nick. Thank you. So there are many stories from all of our attendees about how they enjoyed the camp and what they got out of it. And I hope you all embrace the RYPEN experience and nominate students for the camps. And in particular, have the students come back at some point to give you feedback about what happened on the camp, so that's important. They're actually briefed when they get to the camp about sending postcards back to their host club to thank them, and they should be arranging to speak as well. So I don't have much else to say about it, so I welcome any questions.
If I can. How else can we help other than just sponsoring, providing money? Is there any other way any of our members can help RYPEN?
Well, part of the sponsorship from Rotary Club of Adelaide is to co-host the RYLA dinner, which is held in July over the camp. So that's in itself is a great help, apart from the sponsorship of 5 students for a RYPEN and 2, is it, for RYLA?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, so does that answer your question, Jeremy?
Any other questions?
Once I completed the camp, yes. Yeah. Thanks.
Can you possibly repeat that? I don't think most people do. Or at least capture the essence.
Yeah. Was it that name's?
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff was just telling us about just acknowledging that we need mobile phones in our society, so we try and help the kids best use them in a social way. I think that's what he was saying.
Heidi.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just wondering whether or not you have problems getting young people to attend the camps, and if there's any way we can help to increase the number of young people that may be registering to attend. Given that obviously one of the barriers would be the fact of no mobile phone. Because I think that may be a bit of a barrier for young people. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I know young people. We all know young people. So
we don't spring it on them about the mobile phones. We actually tell them before they get to the camp that mobile phones aren't allowed. So they know all about that before they get to the camp. But it's still, it's a bit horrific for them to get them up. So they'll go into a bucket when we have our first session at Nanyara, which is the centre of Pirie. They all go in a bucket, and they're kept by the camp mum and dad until the end of the camp. And occasionally we do a bit of a ring around to see who hasn't been honest, because we can catch them out. Well, usually answer the phone when they're on the camp. It's all good fun.
All right, I'd like to ask a question of Nick and ask him what the impact of doing away with mobile phone was.
You may have to come over here, Nick.
Yeah. And how he felt and what it was like by the end of the week. What do you think about losing the mobile phone?
Well, at first I was a bit horrified. I did kind of consider maybe hiding it, but then I changed my mind. And it was, after a while, it was horrible for a while, but then you kind of just forget about it, and you just, with all those other people, and you're just playing games with them, and you just forget about it after a while, and it's wonderful.
But we would have caught you out, Nick, because we would have rang you.
Well, next year, is there any indication, or I should say, I think there's a strong indication that you might meet with your dad, the president of your club, before he becomes president of his. Any truth in that rumour, Nick?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'd like to thank Paul in the normal way for assisting us, showing what RYPEN is about. I'd encourage members to look at their grandchildren, their friends' children and things like this, because I would like to see that our club would get more involved with submitting names for our RYPEN events. I think it's important. I think it helps leadership. It helps leadership, and I think Nick is an example of it. From being a very shy person, probably would never get in front of a microphone, and now he has that ability to be able to do that, and I think that is fantastic. And I think he did a great job. And I'd like to really thank him again for coming up here today. And I'd like to say, as you see, it's the 14 to 17-year-olds for the RYPEN. For RYLA, it's the 18 to 25s. And I think the big advantage is no mobile phones. I think it's a big advantage. When I go with my grandchildren, you go to the restaurant, they're all on the mobile phones, texting and things like this. And I think that happens. We did sponsor 5 for RYPEN, and we're sponsoring 2 for RYLA. And also we're assisting the sponsorship of the dinner. I'd welcome anybody to come along to that dinner. It is a good event to see the people and how they've matured over that period of time. And thank you, Paul, for giving us that address today. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Laurie. Thanks everyone for listening.